hoping we're excited about the topic today. My name is Ernie Delgado. I am the CEO of Beyond K-12, formerly Beyond Technology Education, and we've been doing this since about 2001. And today we're going to talk about a concept that you should be very aware of as a school administrator, a school leader, anyone who's making any kind of decisions when it comes to technology and AI readiness, AI strategy in particular. So there's a few things that are happening right now, but before I really dive deep, let me set the stage and understand, why this digital convergence, we're calling it the great digital convergence, why it's so important for you to pay attention to, because the reality is that today is different than it was yesterday, and tomorrow is going to be even more different than that. And as educators, we need to prepare students for this future, this moving target that we're always kind of trying to figure out, and make sure that they are prepared the best they can be. And so we have a model in place that we think, well, we're actually rather certain can help you. But again, before I dive, dive deep into this, let's talk about where we've been. Now, as I mentioned, we've been doing this since 2001. I was actually with another ed tech 10 years before that. Do the math. That's a big chunk of years. And we've seen lots of innovations come and go. Some pretty big ones. Let's take a look at the list. The internet, that was kind of a big innovation. We helped schools figure that out. We went from computer labs to mobile labs with iPads, laptops, and Chromebooks. That one stuck. That one worked. Our classrooms look different today. I remember going to a ed tech conference, and every other vendor was some type of digital board vendor. There was so many options. There's still many, but there's not nearly as many as there used to be. But these have become just part of the classroom learning, teaching environment. Also, take a look at what our friends at Google did. And Google Workspace for Education, our friends over at Microsoft did something similar with 365. Our friends at Apple have their tools. So these cloud drives, just changed everything, and learning management systems along with them. Those two things changed the game in many ways. The classroom is no longer just this place with four walls at a building. The content of the classroom is now wherever the technology is, at home, on vacation, in your hand, in your lap, on your desktop. Changed the game. Lots of educational apps have come and gone. The concept of blended learning or virtual learning, which kind of really went on steroids during the whole virus situation. That made a big difference. That changed how we look at technology and how we interact with content and students, and it made a significant impact. And we have some really good learning models that came from that we still employ today. STEM and coding. Now, I will say that coding has kind of slowed down on it's not as necessary as it used to be. It's vibe coding or coding with AI now. It's a whole different world, and we help schools kind of manage that change. As I mentioned with Google earlier, cloud storage, you know that I don't think that you can discount that at all. That is one of the major technologies up there with the internet that really changed the game, not just for education, but for anyone who uses technology in general. Having those offsite virtual clouds where all your data, you could access it from anywhere. It's how did we live without it before? And that's actually, all those things came together to make AI what it is today also, and gave it the foundation for what we're at today. Now, these last two, digital citizenship and digital literacy, traditionally we combined those both into the digital literacy camp, but I wanted to separate them, especially for where we're headed now, because digital citizenship really deserves its own place in your mind, in your plan, in where you're headed. And obviously, digital literacy is a very important aspect as well. And we'll dig into what those are in a moment. But if you look at that list of things that we figured out, And there's a whole bunch I haven't even included on that list. Things that have really changed the game for educators, really have made it a completely different environment. Well, now we have a new one. It's our friend AI and being ready for AI, getting yourself prepared. AI readiness is the new thing. And we probably get 90% of our input these days is related in some way, shape, or form to help us, share with us, educate us, enlighten us, help us create a plan to move forward. And it's a great question because this is where a lot of energy is being spent. And so, just for reference sake, I've been sharing a version of this slide for years because this is why we're where we're at. Innovation has changed. That Moore's law microchip, the growth 18 every 18 months, processing power grows. Well, it's led to innovation and not just simple growth. Simple growth is 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8. No, 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 no. Things have been growing exponentially. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 4 is 16. Six iterations, you're at a number that I don't even know, but it's put us at this place, this hockey stick growth and innovation. I know some of this is very basic for some of you, but it's important to understand where we're at because what this does show is that we're not stopping. This has been consistent. This trend line has been consistent, and it's starting to get completely vertical, and things get faster and faster and faster, and we've already been seeing that. I think there's two or three new AI ideas or apps or tools or something every day. It's crazy and ridiculous. And this has created good news and bad news for you. And I hope, you know, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but I just want to bring this to your attention as a school leader. The good news is wow, I there are some amazing new tools available to you, your teachers, your school administration that will just change the game, will save time, will provide a much better bespoke custom learning experience for students, will help you with communication, not just teaching and learning, but managing of a school. There's so much that AI can do to help, or a school district, that that's the good news is we're in for tons of changes, but in my opinion, these are going to be great changes. These are changes that are going to make your life better, easier, and help us do our jobs better. This I promise. Now, the bad news is now you have to become an AI strategist. You need to wear a new hat. And I use this analogy, and I love the picture because school principals, they're not excited about another new hat. It's like, we don't learn about this when we were going through our administrator degree program. Where did this come from out of the blue? Well, this is life, right? Changes come. The good news with the new hat is that we're here to help. So I want to make sure that you're aware with this new hat, with these new responsibilities, with these new opportunities that are available for your school, that you're not alone. Okay. We're here. We're building communities of people, of learners, of school administrators and educators that are excited, that are building automations, they're building agents, they're understanding how to prompt more effectively to get outcome. And at the end of the day, the more good news, to use AI does not require computer programming. To use AI requires natural language. This is the big game changer that, eventually you'll understand. And we're not going to get into the weeds on prompting and automations. These are detailed conversations that we should have individually, but I want to make sure you understand the model. So let's dive into what that model would look like. Let's start with the new why. What's your why? Why are you in the position you're in? What are you trying to do? Well, the why for me has changed a bit. Uh, and I'm going to read this quote because these are my words. We're no longer, let me restart that over. We are no longer preparing young people to compete against each other. We're preparing them to compete and collaborate with AI and robots. Yes, those words just came out of my mouth. we are preparing our students for a whole nother level of competition, for a whole nother environment that none of us can't even fathom. This is so different from what we have experienced in our lives. And I'm a seasoned veteran in this industry. You know, if I've been doing this since '01, that's 20, another 34, almost 35 years I've been doing this. I've seen a lot. I've never seen competition with robots. So I put that out there because this is the new reality. And yeah, there's going to be some competition against each other as well, but the big competition is going to be with AI and robots, and making sure students kind of are prepared for that reality. That's where we're headed. Let me move on. The new what. So, to accomplish that why, let's talk about the what. What is the new what? And the whole concept of future proofing. You know, it's a pretty powerful statement. How do we prepare students for a future that none of us knows exactly what it's going to be like? It's a moving target, if anything. But I think we're all pretty confident that it's going to require some significant technical skills. Um, it's going to, let's talk about, let me read it. Future proofing students means more than teaching skills, it means AI readiness, digital literacy, digital citizenship, and character development together. And I toss in that character piece, and we're going to dive into that a little deeper because it's becoming more and more critical in this crazy world that we're living in right now. Character counts. And I think we need to double down on character development. And we have a model to do that because, you know, if you put these tools in the hands of someone without a positive character, with someone who maybe is unscrupulous, you know, those are powerful tools in the wrong hands. We want to make sure these tools are put in the hands of people that are going to do things to benefit the society as a whole. Only when these four pillars converge can we prepare young people not just to keep pace with change, but to lead it. And again, at the end of the day, you know, all of our students aren't going to be leaders. Well, maybe a small, I mean, they'll be leaders of their household, maybe, but we want to make sure that these leaders have the skills and abilities to thrive and lead in a positive, powerful way. So let's look at what that might mean. The great convergence, you know, educating for a bright, connected future, and looking at these four silos as you plan, because this is part of, you know, there's lots of different ways to do technology planning, and we have a model. I'm going to give you an offer at the end of this, at this end of this webinar, where you can actually sign up, and we'll give you a free AI driven technology plan. We're not going to charge you for it, no strings attached. We just want to help people start having a roadmap on how to do this through our technology model, our AI technology planning model that we've developed over time. We call it the Next Generation Technology Program. This is something that you should understand and know. Just use it as reference or work with us. Either way, having a roadmap is important. You know, planning to fail, failing to plan, failing to plan is planning to fail. So let's make sure that you do have a model that's built on substance, these four pillars. The merging has never been more important than it is today. I feel very strongly about those words. We um we as educators are preparing the next generation. I think this generation might not be doing it perfect. How do I say these words? There might be room for improvement in how we're running our country. Is that safe to say? There's room for improvement, and we are creating those young people that will have the ability to make those improvements. Let's give them the tools. Let's give them the values. Let's give them the desires and the heart and the resources to do it better, to be better, because there's room for that. I'm going to stop there. So let's talk about AI readiness. Why does it matter? What, you know, what if, Ernie, why do I need to even think about planning AI? Well, here's why, because it's already happening in your school. You know that. Your teachers, your students, your school board members, your parents, everyone's doing something. Everyone thinks they have the hottest new prompt. AI just built an agent. Oh, I'm using N8N to build these automations and I can do all this cool stuff. Well, yes, this is all true and accurate. People are, it's already happening. The the horse is out of the barn, or the cow is some. The barn has been opened. The door's open. It's gone. Okay, you're not getting it back. However, and I always love to use this analogy. If you remember back in the 2000s, with wireless at our schools, and teachers would go to Staples and buy a wireless access point, so they have better wireless access in their classroom. And they come and they plug it in to your school network. And what kind of problems did that cause? All kinds of vulnerabilities. You now had all these ways to access your network from outside. People could break in and steal your data. It was not COPA, FERPA compliant. Ooh, what a mess. We're at a similar place right now with AI. And I want you to remember or understand this simple concept. There's personal AI tools, LLMs, your own personal chat GPT, your own personal Google Gemini, your own personal Claude, your own personal Grok, whatever you use. But then there's quote unquote enterprise level tools. Enterprise is where you need to be because enterprise includes the safety and the right safety tools are embedded in enterprise level tools to protect your data, to protect your students, to protect your network. So that's a big one. Again, similar to that wireless, access point thing, you want to make sure that your environment is only hosting enterprise level tools like Google Workspace for Education, which includes Google Gemini. I think they're probably going to corner the market just because of that move right there. We have a whole training program to get your teachers Google certified, which is if you could tell, imagine if you could tell a parent, a family's visiting your school, or they're trying to pick which school they want to send their kid to, and you could say half of my teachers are Google Workspace for Education certified, or all of my teachers are certified. That's a very powerful statement that not only helps you as an organization, but it gives you more effective teachers in the classroom with these tools that are available. So we do professional development. I'll get into the model, but understanding to get certified for Google Workspace, Google AI with Google Gemini, blended learning topics. There's a range of things that we get into, but it's very important. AI also, you want your students to be powerful users and problem solvers. This is where they are going to be prepared for their futures because we don't know what the future holds exactly, but it's going to be very technical. I think we could all agree there. So if we could prepare our students with problem solving and critical thinking, quote unquote, and we put them into the future, I feel confident that they will be able to figure it out. We will give them the ability to figure it out because we can't teach them everything, but we could teach them how to think, and we could teach them how to learn, and we could teach them how to tackle change and problems. They're going to see way more change in their future than we could ever constantly that we could even imagine. It's just going to be a whole nother level of craziness, and we need to prepare them for that. I brought up ethics, digital citizenship here also, although it's its own separate category. Ooh, pardon me. It needs to be focused on because, again, these tools in the hands of a powerful, confident, positive individual are going to be, better than in the hands of someone, being nefarious or not being scrupulous. So we want to make sure we include that. And as a school leader, again, that new hat you're wearing, you need to develop the strategy. And you're not alone. We're here to help, be part of the community and let's solve these problems together. Because if you have a problem and we solve it, now I can help this other school with a similar problem, and we're all going to learn from each other. It's the Wild West, as I mentioned before. Now, digital literacy is an important topic. And let me tell you why. You could have AI all day, every day, but AI is this one kind of, it's one way to communicate and it's one way to solve problems. But eventually, the content that you come up with needs to be integrated into some way to present it to others. Digital literacy, in my opinion, are just the foundational skills. How do you use tech? How do you walk up to a computer? Let's just take Google Workspace, for example. Google Workspace for education has Gmail. It has Sheets. It has Slides. It has Google Calendar. It has Google Meet. It has Google Admin. Now it has Google Gemini AI. It's got like 21 different functions, different tools. Digital literacy knows which is the right tool and how do you integrate those tools and how do you solve problems with those tools. And this has become a life skill. This is like basic level stuff to be a human on the planet. You need to have basic fundamental digital literacy, understanding how to edit a document, understanding how to create a formula, understand how to print on the network, all these different basics, how to use your cloud drive and store data, how do you organize and create fold, these basic things is all under the umbrella of digital literacy. And then if you're familiar with the SAMR model, how can you use these tools to create new opportunities, new learning methods, um, making sure that students all have access to these tools. Equity is still a big issue. Does everyone have their own personal device, and what kind of device is it? It's so there's lots of different things that fall under the digital literacy umbrella, but it's an important umbrella, and you don't want to overlook it. Um, Popping over to the next one, digital citizenship. Why does this matter? And we're going to focus a little bit on this as well because this is part of the convergence. You have AI, you have digital literacy. Okay, those two things plug in, very well. Now, digital citizenship is the next level. Now that you're in those environments, how are you safe and secure? How are you being sure that everyone is playing fair, that everyone is communicating within, the normal range of human politeness? Because now that you have technology 24/7, now that you have technology on your desk, in your hand, in your pocket, in your backpack, at home, in your bed, where you're working, doing homework, there's all these touch points now. And students need to be told how to use these things correctly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time because I think we all already are deep in this conversation, but it's part of the convergence that we're talking about is being a good human when it comes to technology. One of the other important aspects, critical aspects with regard to AI in particular, is the whole concept of fake news and deep fakes. This is becoming a huge issue with content, with videos in particular, and students need to know how to discern what's real, what's not real. It's getting harder, but we need to at least attempt to give them the basic fundamentals of how to spot correct versus incorrect, fake versus real, over sensationalized versus authentic and accurate information. This is unfortunately, this has become a huge, huge issue, not just in our classrooms, but in our society. And we could start, fixing that because that is a challenge in our world. And then to top the cake off with this cherry, this is a nice way to end the convergence conversation because character counts, ethics count, grit counts, empathy and respect counts, responsible leadership counts. And I think we have an opportunity as educators to kind of reintroduce and reprioritize character. It's it is what it is, okay? Now we actually have a very powerful K through 8 technology curriculum which is called Technology Plus. It's digital literacy. It's everything from keyboarding to AI prompting and everything in between, spreadsheets, cloud drives. It's all the stuff we talked about in digital literacy, K through 8, spiraling each grade level gets more and more challenging. But Technology Plus, the plus part is character development. So within each of the projects, the students are building or collaborating a project around kindness or making good choices or being good to the planet or making good choices on your exercise. It's all character based projects. We're so proud of it. We This is our little contribution to the planet, is yeah, let's teach digital literacy and technology and all these things we're talking about in the convergence to our young people. Were the foundational years. K through 5 is important, and 6 through 8's just setting them up for high school. We got that that launch pad built for you, and happens to include character development. So we're proud of it. We want you to take a look. Now, I was going to remove this slide because it's redundant from the one before. I decided to keep it for one major reason, and that is that character is so important that it needs to be emphasized again. This just has to happen. We need to build this in. We need to promote integrity. We need to foster empathy and respect. We need to build ethical decision making, and we have that opportunity because we're the educators. We can't be with them 24/7, but that those moments of time we can help do our part. And I think that's a powerful statement. Now, let's get a little practical here for a moment. The good news, the great news, is that the model that we've developed, the Next Generation Technology Program, can all be funded through federal funds. And most of you have a bucket of money, some are all, and we work with your budget. For Title II, Title IV is usually the biggest one. There's the AI challenge if you want to attempt to earn that money. And there's going to be more funding for AI. I'm paying attention to the legislation. There's a lot of noise at the top, but I do think that that's eventually going to happen. The National Science Foundation has lots of great grants and opportunities, so we're paying attention to all of this. But the good news, when we do that free tech plan, it's all written up and ready to be submitted for these funding opportunities. So we work with you and we look at what's important for you. What are the requirements for your school? Because every school is going to be different and unique. Where are we starting from? We normally do before we do even do the technology audit, we like to do a staff assessment. All of our professional development is assessment based, and we have all the paperwork, all the requirements for any kind of audit that would happen, so that your teachers get a high level, custom, personalized professional development plan built for each of them in particular, based on data, and we just help them elevate, help them get to the next level. Everything from large group training to small group training, grade subject specific, to one-on-one coaching and mentoring, and we get so much value from that. You have some teachers that aren't going to raise their hand during the large group PDs, but when they're one on one with someone from my team that empathizes with them and has been in their shoes, the conversation changes. They open up, and we can help them get to that next level, break through, and get to that next level. So let's dive in. We have a few more minutes left. What is the next generation technology plan, and why was it invented? It has been updated in the last 2 years with AI readiness. So let's talk about the 9 steps. This might look super messy to you. This is my game plan. I tell schools, if there's some type of misalignment at your school site, if there's no tech plan or an old tech plan, if there's an AI adversity, um, averse or adverse, I'm gonna have to double check that word. If your staff has some technology needs, um, if you have curriculum needs, there's some holes there, enrollment concerns, budget concerns. If you have any of those or other problems, we could partner and help you fix what ails you, help you solve some of those problems through our 9 step NGTP approach. On the bottom is the audit phase. Let's audit the school. And when I say audit the school, let's find out what's happening and where AI can improve from the school administrator, and how that person operates and conducts their job, and how can we make their job easier and more effective and simplified with AI agents and automations. Also, the school operations, from attendance to answering the phone. Voice automations are huge in AI, and it's like a live person. I mean, it's obviously AI, but it answers all the questions now because it has this database of knowledge that we train it. It's super amazing. If for sports schedules, for anytime you reach out to a parent, you could build a AI voice automation to do that and save time, tons of time, and not nothing falls. Do you know how many schools get phone calls for a site for a school visit, and that lead, quote unquote, falls through the cracks? That won't happen anymore with voice automations. So we want to audit the school, the operations of the school. Then we want to audit the teachers and how they're using tech within their classrooms. What's going on in there, and where can we make some automations to help them, especially when it comes to personalization. I mentioned the project flip earlier. That project flip where the students turn in something and we automatically make a quiz out of it and push it back out. If you know this, do the quiz. We love that model. We help that with teachers. And then curriculum. How can we try to personalize things as best we can and make the content individualized for every student? We audit all those opportunities, and then we create a plan. We create a vision for the school. We create a vision for your staff, and we create a vision for your curriculum. And we give you tangible ideas of where AI can help. And then the top level, 7, 8, and 9, we start. Let's get this thing going. We start training your staff, and I mentioned it starts with an assessment first. What do they know? What do they not know about technology? Where do they want to go? It probably takes about 15, 20 minutes. It's a simple assessment. It's multiple choice. There are some opportunities to provide feedback and input, but it gives us the data to start. Where is your team? Where are your teachers with regards to all these things? And we slice and dice and we make recommendations. All these teachers need large group. These people probably need small group. These are the ones, and this is actually probably the most valuable of all the data. These teachers need handholding. They need one-on-one coaching, and knowing who those people are and having data to help them, that changes the game for them. Because what I have found, the one thing you cannot replace with technology is experience. And if you have an experienced, we call them veteran teachers. If you have a veteran teacher, that's just amazing. But this new thing is overwhelming to them. This technology thing. Well, you can't. I could teach a veteran how to use tech. I could show them the relevance. I can make them understand. I can't sell you experience. That's a gift. So let's take that gift and let's improve on it before they get frustrated, burn down, and leave. Let's give us a chance to work with them. The integration piece where we now start building out automations, excuse me, and providing maybe some software solutions, AI built automations and software solutions. We don't know yet. We haven't done the audits. And then, boom, at the top, our digital literacy curriculum, where all your students, K through 8, 9 through 12, 6 through 8, K through 5, however you're configured. We work with schools of all different shapes and sizes, public, private, charter. We know what you do, and we know how to create a model that fits and to provide a level of detail, sophistication, and elevate your technology program and prepare your students for the future using the tools available through this great convergence. That's kind of just where we're at. So we're excited to present this to you. The plan will kind of show you how all these different technology areas can fit into your classrooms. We work with some schools that have a technology specialist, like a computer teacher. We kind of like that model for a variety of reasons. We have some schools that have mobile labs. We actually have some schools that still have a fixed lab. That's okay. Most of our schools are one-to-one environments, so the tech teacher will go to that class and deliver, kind of a high level technology a core class to make sure the students are getting the bleeding edge. But we also work with many schools where the classroom teachers are asked to do this, and so we kind of calibrated that assessment is super critical for that because we know who can handle a lot and who cannot handle a lot. And we calibrate the program for each individual classroom teacher to make sure that they're not overwhelmed. And again, that support piece is there for the teachers that need more help. So there's a lots of moving parts, but we have a model. It's not just throwing darts and hoping one of them hits a bullseye. We have a plan, the 9-step NGTP plan. And of course, I want to talk to you about Technology Plus. This is our baby. We're so proud of this curriculum. It's a technology curriculum. It's a digital literacy curriculum. It's 36 weeks of projects. It's grade specific. It's delivered digitally, so it's also translatable into over 100 different languages. If you're working with multiple languages, or maybe you're watching this from overseas, we do have a couple schools in South America. A lot of our content can be translated on the fly. Boom, just click a button, pick your language. Project based, it's all about problem solving. It includes digital citizenship, engaging themes. There's a lot of collaboration opportunities, critical thinking opportunities, and you could see, the first unit. We call it becoming a goal getter. It's about content creation. The second unit, relationship skills. It's all about coding and programming. Unit three, making responsible choices. It's all about financial literacy. In unit four, instilling a growth mindset. Those are just the overarching themes, character development themes. And if you dig down into the projects, you could see, growth mindset, the power of yet, grit, doing hard things, etiquette. I'm not going to get into all of them, but it's a pretty cool curriculum where your students are learning tech while creating projects around character based themes. We love it. My time is up here. So if you made it to this point, I just want to, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for trying to find ways to improve on what you're doing at your school. None of us are perfect. Um, but, and I will reemphasize this over and over right now, the job at hand is preparing our kids for their future, not for our past. How do we do that? Well, it's going to take planning. It's going to take some resources, and it's going to take some time. All of these things we could help you with. If you could see this QR code, actually, there is a link. The E should be after the M at the bottom there. Sorry about that. But snap a picture of that QR code with your phone. Go to the landing page, which will help you sign up for the free technology plan. Again, we'll help you build it. There's a free consultation that comes along with it. No strings attached. Obviously, we're going to show you what it will look like if we were to help you, but it's not mandatory. I'm not even going to push hard. I'll ask kindly, but I'm not going to be aggressive. We're in this together. Just having the plan will give you some ideas that maybe you could run with this on your own. I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure that you are putting energy into, and I'm sure you are. This is just another lens to look through, more data points, more information to be sure that our students are prepared because there's a lot going on. I can't imagine being a young person right now. Oh my goodness. The overwhelm, this, I don't know. I'm already stressed out at my ripe age. I can't imagine what it would be like if I was a young person who's trying to discern the issues that's happening right now and helping them have some foundation moving forward. And I think this convergence that we're talking about here, it gives us an opportunity to reset our expectations for the future. It gives us an opportunity to understand the tools that have been given to us. These are gifts. These tools are gifts, and they are impacting our industry. I'm not going to say they might. I'm not saying that they might change our industry. I'm saying they are. It's happening, and you can't not address this. So find a way. But if you want to talk to me and you want to look at our model and you want to explore how we can help, please snap that QR code, fill out the form at that beyondk12.co/home. If you just want to type it in, it's pretty simple. Beyondk12.co, not com, co/home. There's a form, fill it out. Let's talk. Let's see how we can help you build this character-based, AI-infused digital literacy program that will make your school better and set up your students for success in their future as they compete with AI and robots. Yes, I said it again. So every time I say it, I kind of giggle, but it's not a joke. It's not. I'm not trying to be funny. Not trying to be ironic. I'm trying to be real. That things are moving and our economy is changing, and it's not going to be about manual labor. I shouldn't say that. The trade workers, I think, are going to be fine. It's that middle level, that knowledge worker, that role. Those roles are changing dramatically. There's going to be some new ones. Maybe we can invent them together. But anyway, I'm done for now. I'm so happy you listened, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you. All right. Thank you. Good luck. Take care, and we'll see you down the road.